Hello and welcome back to the Ambassadors of Gaming. I am one in your army of hosts, Ambassador Michael, and today I would like to talk to you about a little game called The Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds is the new Obsidian game created and made prior to Microsoft's acquisition of them, published by Private Division, a subsidy of 2K Games, and basically it's a Fallout clone, but it's pretty good. And I think it does a lot to differentiate itself from Fallout in and of itself as a series. This definitely has more of a D&D kind of vibe. It opens up with stats. It opens up with very specific overarching stats that don't really change as much versus your numeric stats, which go by leveling up. Every time you level up, you get 10 plus points to use to upgrade your stats, and so it's a little bit different there versus what you traditionally see. And then there's of course an upgrade tree. The upgrade tree allows you one perk per level, and it's pretty similar to your standard perk tree. Of course, being an RPG, being a Fallout like game, there's loot, lots and lots of loot. Not as much as like the looter shooters kind of loot. That's not really what the game's about. It does actually a really good job of incentivizing you to keep loot, because you can actually upgrade loot to such an extent that if you like something well enough, you could just keep upgrading it, as far as I know, into infinity, or until the level cap, I assume. So far I haven't run into any issues where I couldn't upgrade something if I wanted to. So that's pretty much what I've been doing, is just keeping the weapons I really enjoy and just keep leveling them up. No harm in that. And you can do the same, of course, with your armor as well. So we have armor situated, we have weapons, we have inventory, we have skills. Story-based, it's more or less what you'd expect. RPG, you're some mysterious guy who woke up from sleep. Again, just like Fallout, no real shocker there. You don't really need a backdrop for story for a character. Who really cares, honestly? That's not really why you play these types of games. You care more about what they're doing and what you can do versus who they are or who they were supposedly were. So it's mostly just a blank template, as you'd expect. Daryl showing off some of the lighting here. He captured some footage for me on this because we have a very heavy workload because of Call of Duty Medieval Remastered and this game. So it's out on Game Pass. That's where we have been playing it. We didn't buy it individually. Microsoft somehow convinced Private Division to allow them to put it on Game Pass, or maybe they just paid them. I'm not really sure how that ended up working out. I've also heard that they own this IP. Given that it's 2K, I'm not really sure that's the case, but given what Daryl and I were talking about before, it seems like that may be the case. Regardless, overall, it's just good. I don't know, like, I guess I get why people like Fallout now. Like, I played Fallout 4, not for me. Played Fallout 3, not for me. Played New Vegas, also not for me. Didn't even try 76 because I knew it wasn't going to be for me. And so I was real kind of hesitant on this because I'd played New Vegas, and I'd played New Vegas when it was old already. So I was worried, maybe this won't really be for me. Then it came to Game Pass, and I was like, oh, thank God it's coming to Game Pass. I'll have something interesting to play, and maybe if I don't like it, I don't feel so bad. But I like it a lot. It's a lot of fun. The dialogue options are actually brilliant. I've been kind of screwing around with them, picking different ones depending on what I'm feeling, who I'm talking to. There's a lot of unique dialogue options. Like, they're pretty straightforward. I forget what there was one part where you'll see it later in here. One of the guys, you can call him a scrat fuck. It's pretty funny. Just the dialogue options are pretty brilliant and pretty like straightforward as of what like normal people would say. You know what I mean? You don't get something as blunt as like a fuck you, but you can get something pretty close. Yeah, I think at one point you can tell somebody you're going to punch them in the throat if they don't shut up. So it's very realistic in the way people talk, I guess. And you can be a total dickhead if you want, or you can just be polite, or you can be somewhere in the middle. I haven't gotten to many branching paths yet in terms of choice in the story. I did make a decision that I thought was the correct decision based off of my companion. You'll see here I got two companions, Parvati and Vicar Max. And based on their opinion, I made a choice that I then regretted, but thankfully the game lets you kind of backtrack on it if you feel like you screwed up, and not necessarily the choice still goes through, but you can rectify it by other means, by doing something else that works in favor of these two factions. And so that dichotomy really worked out well. I think, for me in this game, because I didn't want to have to start over new, and I didn't really like the choice I made. So it was nice that I could kind of fix it in a roundabout way. It also shows that there's a lot of paths even in that one particular mission, which I thought was extremely interesting. As you see here, I keep screwing up the menu tabs because I have my buttons swapped to the paddles on my Xbox controller on the Elite controller. So what you're seeing is just me screwing up the control scheme because I apparently can't brain sometimes. So, but yeah, overall, I think I like it more because it's a space setting. I like space a lot. I didn't really care for Fallout, not so much because of the 50s aesthetic. I like the 50s aesthetic. I just found the world to be really boring. Not in the way that Skyrim was. Skyrim was very populated, and just like this is very populated. Like everywhere you go, and there's purpose and meaning to things, and I don't necessarily feel that way about Fallout 4, especially given I played like 20 hours of it. So it's not like I just picked it up for half an hour. I was like, meh, I don't like it. I tried a lot of it. This isn't that. It's clearly a little budget. If you'll see, like the facial animations and stuff aren't always great. The textures are pretty good, but the facial animations specifically are a little janky. The AI is a little bit janky, but it's not terrible. It's definitely better than a lot of RPGs I've played. I think at one point a guy got stuck in a pipe or something like that, like in between a wall and a pipe, but he ended up working his way out. So the AI is not completely terrible, but again, overall, it's the easiest way to describe it to somebody is a Fallout clone, but it's not really that. It's much more in depth of where I wouldn't want it to be in terms of stats and skills and what you do, versus Fallout, which is just like, here, go collect a bunch of crap, sell it, buy more crap, sell it, upgrade your stats or your perks here and there, and that's pretty much about it. It's just not really for me. Didn't really care for it. This is much more up my alley. I like ships, I like flying around, I like shooting people, and it gives me the options for the things I want to do. And so it's rare for me that happens in an RPG. I usually have to make compromises in terms of story and all of that. So I've been going for a good roughly 8 minutes now before I cut this down. So I'm gonna go a little bit longer just to kind of time it out so I can cut it up. And I'm gonna leave y'all with the screenshot bonus round provided by Daryl. Until next time, I'm Ambassador Michael. Let us know what you think of The Outer Worlds. If you picked it up, if you haven't picked it up, maybe this will entice you. If you have Game Pass, it's definitely worth a try. If it... fucking hell. I'm really just botching that one. I'm not going to try to do that again. Until next time, friends, I'm Ambassador Michael. Goodbye.